Aloha, Anna.
Aloha, Tanya. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing awesome.
On this beautiful, I don't even know what day it is.
Is it Wednesday?
Okay.
If it's Wednesday, we must be in Waimea.
Okay.
You're Tanya.
I'm Tanya.
And I'm Aina.
And we're the
Paradise Patriots.
And we had a great day yesterday at the
Truly.
Democratic Party of Hawaii.
Yes. It was a 4th of July?
4th of July gathering and at the old Kona airport. It was awesome. And it made me decide to go and let's read the platform of the Democratic Party of Hawaii and let's see what these guys stand for, right?
Right. Because I'm just going to put in my little caveat. I can't help it. When they were getting up there and saying how awesome
the platform
was, I expected it to be like the Green Party platform. We talked
Which
about
is
that.
Excellent.
It's just amazing.
We can do another video on that.
Yeah, we will. But anyway, so that's what prompted me to. And then the grassroots people, absolutely awesome. There was some things that I just felt like there was something missing from the Democratic representatives when they were talking and they were saying things. There was a disconnect somewhere that I couldn't put my finger on. So. That was my experience.
You're going to see it when we go through this platform,
exactly.
I think. Because I think I did love the progressiveness of the whole thing.
The grassroots people.
All the grassroots activists there and really taking part in the democratic process. And so hopefully we can start holding, because some of these ideals on the platform are great. I don't know how specific they really are. And then how that translates into actions and laws.
Or lack of action,
or legislation is a whole different thing. So
okay,
go
for it.
The Democratic Party of Hawaii holds that our party and our government shall strive for the following ideas and values. 1, support and provide for a strong economy. I mean, that's
an economy that's based on 2 things: three things: tourism, the military,
and government.
Government, but no, kowtowing to the wealthy as letting our islands be their little getaway playground.
Yeah, and we'll get into this later with another video too, but also I think it's just taken for granted because we're so pre-programmed that time equals money and different people are worth a different amount of money for their time. Depending on what service they provide.
Right.
So right off the bat, this is nothing that's like unique. I mean, every political party is going to say this. Every political candidate's going to say this. I support and provide us for a strong economy.
Right.
Big deal.
By doing the same thing we did that didn't provide a strong economy.
Big deal.
Yeah.
Not exciting.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Number 2, preserve and strengthen the future of agriculture in Hawaii.
By continuing to, I could do in a whole hour of this, but we'll just real fast, selling off prime agricultural lands to gated communities and resort developments, timeshares, and so forth, at an alarmingly rapid rate. The whole fight of Ho'opili in Oahu. I mean, Oahu's almost gone. Yeah. Look at it. Right. And we have an island. We have our islands, people that were self-sustaining at one time, and 90%, probably plus, of our food is now imported.
Right.
That's all by design.
I think it's still higher than that. Yeah.
So, I don't. They've had this in their. This has been
there for
issue
a long time,
for decades, and they're still not
getting
that
start
done.
taking care of it.
Okay.
3, support strong labor practices, good jobs, and a living wage. Of course. I mean, again, that's just everyone's going to say that stuff.
And there's not a living wage, and there won't be if they keep going back to bringing in the economy as tourism,
right, and
military, and selling off our lands to people who want to build rich playgrounds. So, okay.
Support measures to drastically reduce income and wealth inequality.
Same thing. Yeah.
Protect and restore the civil and human rights of each person. Well, that didn't really work out for the homeless this last session.
No, they didn't. In fact, the sit-lie ban, where they're
exactly.
And it didn't work out for protesters.
So, we need to hold the legislators. Who are almost all Democrat. But these guys need to be held to these very nebulous ideas.
I mean, they laughed at Russell when he would remember when he tried to talk sense into them about passing that bill, and they didn't hear it.
No,
so
Support the rights of Native Hawaiians and the preservation of Native Hawaiian culture.
How dare they even... I want to know if a Native Hawaiian was actually consulted when they did this section of it, because when you read down to the section about the Native Hawaiians, I'm going to go off on a kalamai, but I can't help it. Native Hawaiians are the indigenous people of Hawaii and deserve a relationship with the state and federal governments.
Where do you want to start?
With that statement? Deserve a just relationship with the state and federal government?
Yeah.
We don't need to ask for a relationship with the state and federal government. Oh my God! Who wrote this? We support Native Hawaiian
Someone
rights to
who doesn't understand the occupied state.
Exactly. And really, when you look at occupation at the international level, even though a country is occupied, the political and social structures of the occupied are to be maintained during that occupation.
No, you have to ask for it. To ask for the just
It's just crazy.
relationship.
So, hello. We support Native Hawaiian rights to self-determination and the formation of their chosen government entity. Well, they failed miserably at that with federal recognition.
They did.
Federal recognition, and we need to do a video just on that, because the corruption was unbelievable. I'm not going to go into it now, but they supported that corrupted process. And they voted on it. The legislators voted to support federal recognition in the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. In fact, they funded the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. Mm-hmm. Even though 98% of the Native Hawaiians that came out when the Department of the Interior came here, 98% of Hawaiians, you can't believe how many people rolled out. In fact, they didn't plan on this. They didn't leave enough time for Hawaiians to testify. More than half of Hawaiians in Keaukaha didn't get to the mic. Waimea, there were so many people that came in. The people were out onto the street and out into the parking lot. That's how many people rolled out. That repeated itself in every community across the state who said no. And obviously, our legislators either didn't hear it, weren't watching, or didn't ask, because they still supported federal $44 million of OHA's trust fund money that was supposed to go to us went to support federal recognition. The Constitution was written in there was no transparency because they locked themselves up on a golf course and nobody could get in there. Hawaiians who wanted to participate in it were arrested. Right. So, I'm going to go back and say, who runs the state? The Democratic Party. So this is nonsense. You should have had some Kanakas who understand politics come in and help you write this part of it.
It gets worse,
right?
By the way.
So we support recognition as Indigenous people as provided by the U.S. Constitution. There is no provision in the U.S. Constitution for Native Hawaiian. Duh! What are you talking about? Such recognition that doesn't exist, by the way, in the U.S. Constitution will be added to the process of Native Hawaiian self-determination, meeting their version of federal recognition so they can rein us in, steal our resources, and get themselves off the hook. And that's what was in that Constitution.
Well, it kind of goes on, because when you go to number 7 of the platform, it's support the eradication of discrimination.
Against who?
Right. It doesn't really, just discrimination in general.
I probably gay rights, women's rights, transgender rights.
Where do they go? Where do they go with that?
Because I would assume
how is that
not.
Different from civil and human rights? How do you enforce non-discrimination?
Well, you can do that legislatively, right? If somebody's discriminated against when they
enforcing it, you know what I mean?
If you apply for a job or you're in school or something like that, and
but you have to create a culture where that's just the way things are. You know what I mean? And I don't know.
I'll have to just tell you, gay right. There wasn't even an issue in Hawaiian community.
Right.
They were actually elevated, and we have more than 2 sexes in Hawaiian culture. We have 5. So maybe somebody should have called us about that one too. Call Kumuhina if you want to know more about that. She's an expert in that.
She is.
So anyway, where are we? We're moving
Number
on.
8, reform our government, supporting transparency in government and free, fair, and democratic elections.
I'm going to let you take that one. I'll let you go on that one.
I don't think that legislators want to reform themselves. That's where I'm going to go with that.
Transparency. How many bills went to committee
and died there?
Yeah.
And we don't know why. So that's not very transparent.
Mm-hmm.
Even just everything that happened with rail and everything.
Oh my God!
Right.
Yes.
There's not really a lot of transparency, and there was really no movement on the free, fair, and democratic elections, whether it's at the state level or,
super delegates.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right. Exactly.
Right. They
see.
Yep. There you go. Right there.
So I'd like to see these platform ideas really translated into actual bills that could be supported.
I mean, and we could, right in the primary, how many, over 87% of the caucuses voted for Bernie, and our super delegates overran that.
Right.
So that wasn't very democratic, free, or fair.
Mm-mm. And this just makes me think of, like, there's almost all Democrats running the state, but they all infight and can't get anything done, yet they're supposedly all aligned with the same principles. Right. So that just seems extremely... I'm frustrated just reading it and talking about it right now. Like, wow, if they're all getting money from the Democratic Party of Hawaii and they're all to run or to, do their thing.
Represent their areas.
Represent their constituents, then why are they all fighting against each other on how it gets done? Like, at least come up with the top ideals. I mean, you've got a platform and they're not even adhering to it.
Right.
Okay, but we'll move on. Number 9, provide an excellent free public education for students at every level. Well, I hope so. It'd be great if it could be one that wasn't where the schools weren't sprayed with, poisons and stuff. Well, here's number 10, support a comprehensive approach to ending poverty. I don't think they have the first clue on where to go with that. But I'd love to see some of this actually translated into actual bills.
And it rolls back into if you have an economy based on degradation of your culture, of your resources. The economy is based on the degradation of your resources, on a military expansion, which also
and equating time for money, where
right.
everyone's time is associated with a different dollar figure, which is really crazy. Number 11, provide high quality and free health care for every human being. We're really doing not bad there.
You got one right.
We have far to go, but we're ahead of a lot of other states actually there. Protect and preserve Hawaii's environment. We got a long way to go on this.
Couldn't get the styrofoam bill through.
Right.
Couldn't get the sunscreen bill through. Can't get the aquarium bill through. Can't fix the
overdevelopment.
Can't stop the sewers. Right. It shouldn't even be piped into the ocean to begin with. Couldn't figure that wasn't a good idea.
Right.
Can't stop overdevelopment.
This is not a priority.
No, it's not. No, they're selling. The reason we have poverty and the reason we have the degradation is because of
and that's the thing. These are very complicated issues, and they have to be prioritized. So I understand, when there has to be compromises made. But this was definitely not at the top of their list this last session because those were simple bills. The aquarium collecting is really a simple one.
Yeah.
Achieve energy sustainability.
I guess we would have to stop being held hostage by Helco before they could do that, and that's not right. They can't. Yeah.
And they always put the they say, oh, we're going to be sustainable by 2400.
2090.
It's like, oh, I hope Picard and his crew are doing really well then.
Beam me up, Scotty.
It's like stuff that you could send people to the moon in 5 years, but you can't, create sustainable.
Tell me we couldn't do that in a year. Everybody would have a solar. There's solutions.
There's solutions.
Kauai already has a lot of that taken care of. Yeah. If every house had solar panels on it and a little windmill, it's not rocket science. And you don't have to know the details of it. There's genius people out there that can figure that out. And then you want to build the economy. You can do a cryptocurrency related to how many kilowatts of energy people put into the system. And all of that money would be poured back into our economy.
Idea,
it's not rocket science. Well, duh.
Right.
But I don't know. Where we have to stay hostage to the dinosaurs. I mean, that's probably why they did Jurassic Park here.
Well, even the dinosaurs neglect. Adopt transportation policies that improve our quality of life.
Is that related to rail?
Well, just give us some extra rail around this island. Can I have my rail with some extra rail?
Can I have my $10 billion rail?
This is the one that kills me, though. Support military relations that honor and provide for all military personnel and veterans while protecting our Aina.
That sounds... I'm just going to say...
The protecting our Aina part.
It's a clusterfuck.
Mm-hmm. They're bombing here.
Yeah.
So that's not really
and
protecting.
Starting today,
they don't clean up.
They're gonna. It'll be every day.
Oh, it is today. Yeah, today's
July 5th.
July 5th. Yeah. So they're bombing every day this month.
Yeah.
So woohoo!
Plus park in the.
Throw out some extra fireworks today, folks.
Yeah. I'm not. Honoring our and that's
and
always
like
the mealy mouth thing they do.
But that's what they say.
Honoring the military personnel does not mean that we have to allow the destruction of our place. Honoring the military, they don't have to marry those two ideas.
They don't.
Stop tying that together.
Right, because they actually separate.
Yep, they don't have to. That doesn't mean that we have to allow the destruction of our place.
And we need to actually start disallowing it and saying no. And then 16, support fair and just foreign policy that promotes peace.
That would be to demilitarize Hawaii. That's the best way to promote peace.
I agree.
Yeah, demilitarize Hawaii, make this a peace zone.
And then have it a place of healing for people who are coming out of war.
Yeah.
So that we can...
And have a
until
deadline.
There's no more people coming out of war.
That's a 5-year
But there
deadline.
needs to be a plan. Yeah. So... it's a good start. Platform of the Democratic Party of Hawaii approved at the 2016 state convention. I'm sure if we looked at any other states, platform, we'd have even more problems with it.
Well, this has to be approved by the Democratic Party. Right?
But this is from the 2016 convention. So this is what they should be holding their legislators to. This is what we need to hold them accountable to. And I think this needs work. It needs to be more specific. And I'd like to see some more unification, because this is, to me, this is just all lip service.
Yep. They have to really think it through. It's not been thought through, or they would see the overlapping and congruence of one thing rolling into another with it just doesn't make sense.
Right. No.
So.
People who wrote this don't actually have to get it done. They didn't have to write a grant about this. If you ever had to write a grant, you know how specific it has to be.
Right.
How are you going to do it? Who's going to do it? What are their qualifications? How much money do you have? Well, here's your timeline. Why don't we have to do that with these kind of things? It's so insane. I have to do that if I want to, provide, like May Day. If I want to have a May Day thing and I want a foundation to pay for it, I have to create an entire budget. You have to have bios. You have to know how you're going to do it. You have, if you get off track, you have to explain why. Why don't we have to do any of that stuff for this kind of stuff that's actually meaningful to everybody?
And I think a lot of what they're trying to do is they're appeasing both sides, because if you look at this little part, just about the ocean part, recognize the importance of the ocean as a life-sustaining resource. We must protect its ecological balance while promoting the cultivation of ocean resources as a step towards greater self-sufficiency. So there's just great. They're not taking there's no.
It sounds great, but see, then to move it into reality.
And I take it as a okay, we don't want to upset the aquarium people. We don't want to upset the military. We don't want to. So we're just going to make a blanket non-teeth, a toothless.
And the problem is that moving forward, everything that is worth doing is going to be controversial. Everything is going to be contentious.
And they're trying to avoid that.
Everything is going to provide, because the way that the world is, the people that have been in power and are raping and pillaging the natural resources and the land and all that, they are going to be upset.
Right.
That it is going to stop. So, we have to be okay with that.
Right. You're exactly right.
We have to be okay with that. Mm-hmm. So to water down something, because that will never happen.
Or we don't want to upset our donors.
That could never really happen.
We don't want people to leave the Democratic Party.
Well, people have already left. Yeah. And they were actually the people with the most energy.
If you want us to come back, you should tighten this up.
There are people with the greatest vision, the most energy, the real passion to get things done. And so really that is what's going to have to happen is, this platform needs to be reworked.
It needs some teeth.
and needs real teeth.
And some real
I would just say,
thinking.
hey, Democratic Party of Hawaii, grow some balls. And let's get some real good stuff in there that you can actually make happen.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know?
You're exactly
Make
right.
it happen. And maybe they shouldn't be so lofty. Support the eradication of discrimination. That's like saying I want world peace, but we're still going to have Pohakalo, and we're still going to train people to kill people, and we're we
So
can't have these lofty
fly
goals
drones off of
that. We have to take steps. What can we do next year? And let's create a platform for that. And it'll happen organically and really powerfully if we can actually have a platform with teeth that has some balls.
Right.
We'll lend you some of ours.
And you know what? And then we can close if we want. But I think when you saw the display of people that were there,
It was awesome.
you've got the manpower.
You've got the manpower.
You've got the
Democratic
manpower
Party
that
has
are
some power.
that are addressing almost every one of these issues. They have the manao. They have the issues going already. They're getting it out into the public. They're smart. They're educated about it.
They were powerful community
Every
organizers.
issue had a representative in one of those tables that took the initiative on their own and could take care of these. That's why I said that disconnect between them and whoever presented this and was saying is
well,
just...
I think you're right. You're totally hitting on it. So they're not trying to unify the people. They're trying to appease the donors and the lobbyists, and keep the people's wishes at bay and at a slower growth. Like they want our passion to be, maintained so that it doesn't upset the balance.
Right.
Whereas what should be happening is a really good party, whether it's the Green Party, Aloha Aina, or the Democratic Party, or the GOP, they're going to unify the people based on what the people
and the
want.
donors
This is
are
what
gonna
Bernie
have to
did very well.
adjust.
And he knew what the people wanted. Now, the government wouldn't bend to a lot of that, obviously, that they had to cheat to get them out.
Yes,
right? Because they knew what would happen.
Yeah.
We would have went ballistic with every single thing that didn't happen, that we wanted. Once you get the people, and the people have a leader, you can't match the unification of the people with a powerful leader.
Right.
That's what they're afraid of. Not just the Democratic Party, the establishment in general.
Yeah.
But that's what will shift everything. Once the lead, and what will happen is there'll be many leaders.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be many leaders leading their things, and so we just need to unify and make it happen. It could happen. It could actually happen under the Democratic Party if they grow some balls and grow some teeth
And get over this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of really cool people involved in the Democratic Party.
It was
really
impressive
awesome people
yesterday.
So
Yeah, it was impressive.
good luck.
Yeah.
We'll
So
lend you our balls if you want.
there you go. I'll help you
Wait,
rewrite.
she has a couple extra sets.
I'll help you rewrite the platform.
That would be fun, actually.
It would be, and I think we should have all of those people
Yeah.
there at the table because they know what they're talking about. They're in the front lines. You met the frontline people yesterday,
Right.
so they know.
At
They know
least
how to
on this island, yeah.
They know how to restructure this. So there you go.
Excellent. Well, I'm Tanya,
And I'm Anna.
and we're the
The
Paradise, Patriots.
Patriots.
Aloha.